Hello, everybody. Uh, my name is Beata Pašková, and I'm greeting you from Prague, Czech Republic, and also from Slovakia, where I am hosting my presentation for the World Schema Therapy Day. I am the director of the first Institute of Schema Therapy, Czech Republic and Slovakia, and I would like to talk today a little bit about the reparenting role of healthy adult, especially uh, mm, from the view of the how skills of the healthy adult. So let's start and kick in. Healthy adult mode in schema therapy, as we all know, is one of the central concepts. And all schema therapies, I believe, hold notion of the healthy adult in their minds. Yet, definition is not fully unified and it's somewhat elusive to a degree. There are significant overlaps in a particular definitions, but some perspectives, some features are different. But I hope that we all agree that a skillful, healthy adult mode is an overarching ultimate goal of the successful schema therapy. Mm, let's have a look firstly to some of the main definition of healthy adult. And I will start with Jeff Young, of course, in his main book, Schema Therapy Practitioner Guide. He points out the three main basic functions of the healthy adult as the mode which nurtures, affirms, and protects the vulnerable child mode, limit the angry and impulsive child modes, and battle and moderate the maladaptive coping modes and critics. Later on, Ida Shaw and Joan Farrell added to this definition that healthy adults also performs appropriate adult function, such as working, parenting, taking responsibilities, and committing, mm, and also pursues pleasurable activities as a healthy attitude towards emotions, needs, and make healthy decisions. Paul Paris, mm, during the conference Inspire in 2024, um, established a healthy adult mode as not just one single fixed state, but as a dynamic collection of interrelated submodes that characterize a mature individual's adaptive responses to life situations. And this definition is a core in our case conceptualization form, now released in 2023, I think, and it includes a detailed evaluation of the healthy adult mode, prompting therapists to appraise the eight particular capacities: meta awareness, emotional connectedness, reality orientation, a coherent sense of self, identity, self assertiveness and reciprocity, agency and responsibility, caring beyond self, and hope and meaning. Further definition, which also inspired me, were one of the older show and startup saying that healthy doubt is a psychologically healthy sense of core self emerging during the therapy, which understand all the other modes. Um, David Edwards uh, described healthy doubt as the one of the modes who helps to make the informed decision, realistic and accurate, uh, as opposed to simplistic, distorted, and unrealistic expectation and choices. And David Edwards also sees healthy doubt more like a group of the interrelated modes rather than the one mode or state. And the last definition I pick on the uh, great webinar of Yanis Briedis and Helen Startup about the strengthening of healthy adult, where they said that healthy adult gradually during the therapy taking over the space dominated by coping and critic modes, and they used a metaphor that it is as if it was a journey from autocracy to democracy. So, overall, we all know or we can agree that healthy adult functions are it cares for and protects the vulnerable child mode, set limits to angry child mode, develops a happy child mode, neutralize critic modes, replaces maladaptive coping modes, has healthy approaches to emotions and needs, performs adult functions, make healthy choices, is accepting and kind to self, and lives from the place of values. But after all these definitions, reading and dealing with LCDL for many years, I start asking myself, how exactly does a healthy adult mode execute all those functions, um, and how the inner world of our good parents within the healthy adult looks like? How skills of healthy adult mode arise the questions like, what are the ingredients of the inner world of healthy adult? What emotions, cognitions, um, and in which environment enable healthy adult to deliver all those complex tasks? And what stands or states of mind is required? And I would like to share with you now four inspirational resources which led me to the idea we'll discuss further. The first is the study, understanding the reparative effects of schema modes, an in-depth analysis of the healthy adult mode by Yakin and Arnold in 2023. And what really brought my interest was that they look into the healthy subjects with very strong healthy adult and establish three superordinate themes like bonding between healthy adult and vulnerable child modes, balancing expression and inhibition of adult and child modes, and also battle, opposing demanding and critical voices and maladaptive coping modes. Furthermore, what was really interesting and lovely, I would say, was that the strong, healthy adult mode seems to have a reciprocal relationship with the child modes, and that the healthy adult gives nurturance and protection to the child modes, but on the other side, the child mode boosts up the healthy adult with spontaneity and happiness. So, in conclusion, emotional stability and resilience may be highest when the healthy adult and child mode interaction happens bidirectionally. When the child mode gets reparented by the healthy adult, but the healthy adult is informed and somehow supported, um, enriched by the spontaneity and happiness of the child mode. So my second and third inspirational resources stem from the Buddhist philosophy, which are both inspired by the dialectic of behavior therapy, or we can see the inspiration uh, from Buddhist philosophy in dialectic behavioral therapy and compassion focused therapy. And I pick up few elements which I would like to work on further. And from DBT, it is mindfulness, concept of wise mind and distress tolerance, especially one little level exercise goes, a technique goes the half smile. And from compassionate focus therapy, I was really surprised by the um, idea, notion of the compassion as described in CFT, as a notion of compassion as a basic motive, required courage and wisdom. So, as I said, both of these approaches was very inspired by the Buddhist philosophy, and in Buddhism, 1,000 years ago, was already mentioned compassion as a cultivated, active wish for all being to be free from suffering, not merely an emotional response. And the mindfulness is a practice, as we all know, of moment to moment awareness, observing thoughts and experiences without attachment to cultivate uh, a peaceful mind and reduce reactive patterns. So together, these are the key to spiritual growth, dissolving selfishness, fostering interconnectedness, and achieving liberation. So I started thinking and further exploring how these two qualities can together in some synergic way help healthy adult to deliver this reparenting role, which I will talk late in a few minutes now. But I also pick up the fourth inspirational source, and it is the circle of security as established by the well-known John Bowlby, and its consistence of the three main qualities: the proximity, a need for closeness when we feel um, in danger, and we and our need for connection in these times of distress. Also, the another component is safe haven. This is our source of security uh, from which we can go and explore world outside, and also safe base, our soothing, comforting place. So those four explorational resources let me tell you to explore and think of mindful compassion as a possible vehicle for reparenting role of healthy adult. So let's have a look closely to compassion first. Is it a kindness? Is it love or empathy? Is it care or is it emotion even? Answers are no, or not only, or not always. As Paul Gilbert says, compassion is a sensitivity to suffering with a commitment to try to alleviate or prevent that suffering. So, further closer we can describe compassion as inborn motivational system common to all mammals, similar as feeding, mating, survive. And it has two parts of it, consists of two parts. The first is stimulus, and the second is response to stimulus. Stimulus for compassion is suffering or distress, and response is commitment to alleviate it. And this response needs three qualities, as as our determination to do it, decision to engage in this alleviation of suffering process, courage to act upon it, and wisdom uh, to know how to do it. So further, when we look closer to compassion, we can see it as a part of the motivational system because, as Paul Gilbert said, the, the compassion is one of the motives which are inborn to us. And this motivational system consists of the motives and the emotion, which are some kind of guides and serve motives to be recognized. They create the body, which are states which are focusing on action and social signals. And we also, in this system, need the competencies how to deliver those motives while once recognized by emotions. And those competencies are, for example, uh, muscles for lions to be able to catch the prey and to be fed, but also from the point of the, when we motivate, when we explore motive of compassion, it is reasoning, even empathy and mindfulness. It is interesting here that empathy is it belongs among the competencies of us and not emotions or motives. And we can use empathy for different motives, not only for compassion. For example, if we want to manipulate somebody for whatever reason, empathy is also very, very useful tool. And if we want to be compassionate, the good high level of empathy is also very helpful. So this is a look into the motivational system, our main interacting domains of functioning. And now let's closer to the motivational, the compassion as a motivation system. Uh, the motivation of compassion says that it is a commitment to relieve distress. And the emotion linked to this motivation are upon depends upon the context. Um, if we see the child on the street, for example, jumping under the car, the emotion linked to it is a sudden anxiety or fear, and we want to act quickly upon that. If we are accompanying the friend with a serious illness, uh, we can feel sadness, which also drive our motivation, but also joy when we are helpful in their recovery. Sometimes we can feel guilt if um, we harm somebody unintentionally. And the competencies for this compassion are reasoning, empathy, but also distress tolerance, mindfulness. This distress tolerance is very important if we're compassionate as a doctor, for example, on EA. Um, in emergency department, there is no time for too much of the empathy or kindness. We need to be really high in distress tolerance and able to help compassionately to the patient. So this is a closer look to the motivational systems and compassion. And let's have a look to the self-compassion, healthy doubt from this perspective, what was just said. So it seems that it is not just being nice to ourselves or just to take pain away. Uh, Being self-compassion sometimes involves also assertiveness and even anger, but not vengeful anger, the anger which stimulate us to be more compassionate. For example, if when we see injustice, and we can recognize two types of this of compassion according to the what purpose it serves. So the key common elements for both are the self-protection, but the execution could vary. We can have the soothing, tender compassion with a calm, nurturing, affecting um, way of delivering it. We use it when we're talking to vulnerable child, even sometimes to angry child or impulsive son, sometimes even to coping mode. But we also have the so-called fierce compassion or the mama bear compassion, where we're using small assertiveness, confrontation. Sometimes it can be accompanied with anger, but always in dignified and kind of graceful way. And we use this type of compassion mainly with critics. And now let's have a look, as I said at the beginning, that the compassion is need for compassion we needed a courage, determination, and wisdom. So why do we need a courage to be compassionate? Um, According to Paul Gilbert, we have the three uh, system of emotional regulation, which are interconnected together. It is threat system, uh, which we prioritize because it is a system which is detecting a threat and it's protecting us, our lives, and the common and it's linked with emotion like fear, anxiety, and anger. And then we have two more positive kind of emotional systems, motivational and soothing system. This motivational system is about the resourcing, pursuing things, wanting things, and achieving things. And it's connected with drive, excitement, vitality, and joy. And also, we have the soothing component of this system, where we are calming, we we need content, we deliver it through kindness and warmth. So, why courage is important? Because self compassion is moving towards own suffering, and it can trigger the threat system. To overcome it, we need to face this threat and to resist inner inhibitors, okay? Courage to face the fear, anxiety, and to link to and the pain which is linked to it. And why do we need a wisdom and determination? And in order to be compassionate, compassion starts with a reality check, and inside the reality builds a wisdom. For example, if we realize that we are all gene built, that we carrying potential for the good and for the bad, that we are going to die one day, all of us. This fact is very often and for a long time dissociated from us. That we are all socially shaped, that our genes are further in our life form according to in which environment we grow up. These are all common themes to all human beings, and a clear connection with this and with our reality enable us to make more wise and skillful, accurate decisions from this perspective. And also determination. Determination starts as a last newest source of compassion, and it starts with a development of our brain and the neocortex, the newest part of the brain, brought to us also consciousness and ability, and with it also ability to self-reflection, self-monitoring, imagination, greater, much greater problem solving. Also, mm, we we are able to think in an ethical way about our morals and also our determination, the conscious decision to to commit to compassion, among others, uh, which means that we can say to ourselves that I want to be that person who hurts, or I don't want to be that person who is insensitive to suffering. This is just a short notice here that with the neocortex and consciousness, and on the other hand, there is a potential to increase our resources, which can lead to this balance in our motivational system mentioned before. And also it can lead to potential of antisocial and dark side and insensitiveness to suffering, threat system overshadowing, and motivation system overshadowing the soothing system. That all starts with development of our consciousness, with, this, with which, as Paul Gilbert says, is a great gift, but also could be a curse. Uh, so, in a nutshell, with consciousness, we became more compassionate, but also more cruel, more anxious, more critical, hand in hand. And now let's have a look to the mindfulness qualities of healthy adult. Uh, and why do we need a mindfulness as a healthy in a healthy adult mode? The first step that needs to happen in order for us to be self-compassionate is to be aware that we are hurting. And we often don't want to acknowledge it, of course, because it hurts and we run away from it, want to shut down it. And especially when we make mistakes, the last thing we want to do is to be mindful of it. So we suppress it, or we quickly want to fix it or fight it to make it go away. But in order to be able to attend to it with compassion, with kindness and caring and support, we just need a moment of decision when we stop fighting it and we just accept it and we are aware of it. And these two qualities, mindfulness and compassion, reinforce each other then. Once we stop and respond with warmth and kindness and connection to our suffering, we feel safer and more able to feel the pain in a full and provide more compassion and warmth. And the last part or source of this mindful compassion, I would like to mention this half smile distress tolerance technique from DBT. Um, by promoting a more relaxed and accepted facial expression, there are lots of studies about it, um, we can deactivate the body threat or stress response and shift from the defensive to more open posture uh, where we can foster inner peace. This type of smile, we often call also the Mona Lisa smile, is just a gentle, very um, soft move of our face, which is almost invisible, and it's turning our corner of our lips a little bit higher. It's not big fake joke smile, but it's about this muscle around the corner of our lips, which are shifting a little bit up. We can try it now, just for a moment. We can soften and relax our jaw. And maybe you can experience that it's immediately bringing a relaxing feeling to us. So mindful compassion, uh, in analogy with healthy adult qualities and Bowlby theory of safe attachment. I would like to come back now to this study of Yatsen and Arts mentioned before about these three superordinate themes: bond, balance, and battle. And let's see the analogy between this and the compassion and mindful qualities which we described. So with a bond, uh, it is you can understand this also as a connection with self, uh, connecting mindfully, courageously with ourselves at a time of distress. Not avoid it, not inhibit, but be connected to it. And it is also very similar to proximity seeking uh, from the secure cycle of John Bowlby's theory. The balancing between expressing and soothing emotion and regulating it in a balanced way. We can also see it in the regulating with tender, compassionate, caring voice, wisdom, comfort, distress tolerance, all smile can also provide a balance for the strong emotion, and we're providing a safe base. And battle is fierce mama bear compassion, courage, and wisdom, but also safe haven from which we are providing encouragement to go out from. So these are the three subordinate themes: bond, balance, and battle, and how they can be related to our self compassion. And now I would like to try with you a small exercise to introduce yourself to your best possible mindful, compassionate self. So if you want to, you can close your eyes. You can take a one or two calming breaths. You can try a half smile. And picture the last situation when you felt a little bit better about yourself, when the critic was involved. Pick some easy or moderate situation from the near past. Think for a moment about the details of the scene. How did you feel? What was critic saying? How did critic talk to you? Try to give a critic voice and tone. What was your response? And now, sweep away the scene and imagine, with calming breath and half smile, building slowly, step by step. How your courage look like, how it can feels like. What is my courage? What action it can facilitate? How my wisdom can look like? What quality it has? How my kindness towards me and others can look like? How do I look like when I'm expressing warmth towards others or myself? And how my mama or papa bear compassion look like? What tone of voice I can hear? And how my tender compassionate look like? Compassion look like? What tone of voice I hear? Take a moment to imagine this best compassionate you with curiosity, acceptance, maybe a bit of amusement, and let doubt about behind the door. It's imagery. Anything is possible. Just enjoy the company of your best compassionate self. Now go back to the previous situation and protect and soothe and guide yourself from the place of your best mindful, compassionate self. Revisit the situation with your mindful, compassionate self. Did you do anything different? And if so, notice what was different. Did you approach the situation with a different emotion? And if so, what was different? You can come back to me. You can practice this mindful compassion self at home. Add to it what is needed. You can even describe it on the paper to make it more visible and more, more present for yourself, or make a picture of your mindful, compassionate self, um, so you can connect with it at times of need. So just to summarize, how skills of reparenting, um, mindful compassion. It is about a connecting mindfully with your suffering, with your needs. Let arise them Do not inhibit them. Use your courage and wisdom. Balance your emotion, soothing temper, soothing with tender compassion and distress tolerance techniques, and act upon it with courage, wisdom, and determination to alleviate your suffering. And just the last reminder, what is reparenting of healthy adult? We can see it as a practice of giving yourself what the younger version of us didn't receive. Thank you for your attention.